Okay, so now we will run the command systemctl restart kubelet. Okay, it is done in master machine. So now I'll be moving to worker nodes. Systemctl. Okay. Okay, so this step has been done. So the next step is we need to initialize Kubernetes control plane component. So that we can do it by using kubedium init command. Kubedium init, which will initialize a Kubernetes control plane node. So for that, we need to pass few parameters like API server advertise address, which will be of master machine IP address, and pod network cider we'll be giving it. So this pod network cider we are giving it since we are using flannel. So we have to pass this value, because if we pass this pod network cider, if you give this range, right? So then flannel network will work properly. Okay, so we'll run this command. So this will take some time, like 2 or 3 minutes to initialize the Kubernetes control plane. Basically, it will create a file called admin.conf, which will be copied to .kube folder as a config file. Basically, if you want to access Kubernetes cluster, so this file is used. So this file will have cluster details, user details, cluster domain details, certificates, etc. Okay, so it is initializing. So right now we are using only one cluster. Suppose if you have multiple clusters, multiple users, in order to easily switch between these users clusters, also kubeconfig file is used. So once this kubedium initialization is done, uh, we need to do following actions. We need to create a .kube directory. So these three commands we'll be getting in the output console. That is, we need to create folder as .kube under our home directory. That is some normal user will create it, and we need to copy the admin.conf file as a config file under .kube folder. Then we need to give the permission for that newly created config file. So we'll be doing this once the initialization is completed. And you can look at the output screen. It's creating few required API server related certificates and all the Kubernetes control plane components related certifications, authentication keys, and it's creating a service account, so RBAC, config map, etc. So now it has done. You can look at the instruction that has given, that is your Kubernetes control plane has initialized successfully. To start using a cluster, we need to run the following as a regular user. So first we'll switch to regular user. Okay, so now we'll run this command. First command and second command. This is to copy the admin.conf into the config file, and we need to give the permission for it. Sorry. Password. It's done. Now we need to give the permission for the config file. So it's done in master machine. So now you can join any number of worker nodes by running the following on each as root. So this is the command that we should run in worker node to join to our cluster. So we'll copy this and we'll go to worker node 1. We'll run this command, and worker node 2, we'll run this command to join to the cluster. Okay, so it has done its execution in worker node 1. You can now look at here the message, this node has joined the cluster, and here also this node has joined the cluster. So we'll move back to the master machine and we'll check the status of these worker nodes. Okay, so you can look at the list of nodes, but if you look at the status, it's not ready for all these 3 nodes. So why? You can describe these nodes and check why it's not ready. Describe kubectl describe nodes. So this is where we are run our command kubectl describe nodes. First one is kmaster. If you look at the reason here under event, Docker network plugin is not ready, CNI config uninitialized. So which clearly says that we need to do the CNI configuration for it. So right now, as I've told, we'll be using Flannel as a network plugin, so that we need to install. So that command, you can look at the documentation. Here it is there. Now deploy the CNI to the Kubernetes server. So we'll copy this. And run this command. Basically, it will deploy a daemon set. We can check the status of these pods. Kubectl get pods -n. Okay, it's still initializing this kubeflannel. It will take some time to initialize and come to the running status. Can make it as watch to see the live execution. You can look at here. It has one of the pod has gone to running status, and yeah, now other 2 pods also gone to running to status. So total 3 kubeflannel network plugin is running in all the 3 machines. Now we will check the status of our cluster. Still get nodes. See, now all the 3 machines status has been changed to ready status. So that's it for today. We have ready cluster on it. So in our next session, we'll be moving to other hands-on. Those are like creating Kubernetes resources services. Thank you.